says it's of course a very good thing to give up drinking if you can. Says when you give up drinking, what you're doing is you're protecting your most important natural resource, which is yourself, your health and your well-being. And obviously if you drink regularly, there's health issues that come up, it can affect internal organs and nervous system and stuff over time, and you're actually damaging your own investment, as it were, your own natural resource of your good health. So if you can stop, you're helping yourself to preserve your good health, and from that it's a natural resource. So if you compare it, say, to the natural resources, say, like that we get out of the earth, we get coal or natural gas or oil or whatever it is, all of that can be taken and used to go on, be used to do all kinds of good things, to help people do things. So our natural resource of our good health, we can use that to go on and do so many good things. So if we look after ourselves, look after our health, and don't do things that damage our health, well, we're in the best situation in our life to improve ourselves, go on and do all kinds of good things.
Well, thank you very much. I'll take those words away and think about them. So, thanks for your time.
It's okay.
Thank you. Good luck.
You've got an offering? You've got an offering? Ni meของพระธรรมทาโร You might have heard that we have our visiting teacher, Luang Liem.
Yes.
He came before, you might have seen him here before.
Yes, I have. An auspicious time. Been sightseeing?
Just yesterday, one afternoon out.
Were you to a
Went to the Docklands.
How was that received?
There was an exhibition on the human body. It's called Amazing Bodies, where they have all these plastinated human bodies and animal bodies. Skin taken off, you can see the organs. It's all plastinated, it's like being chemically treated, so it's all hard, and then you can use it, look at it in an exhibition.
How long is it? Do you know how long it's going to be there for?
I don't, I think not long, I think it's closing soon, it's been there a long time.
Must tell me all about it. Good place for contemplation.
It's Docklands.
A lot of people?
No, not that many in there, but just around shopping and that.
Yeah, yes, of course. Always the way.
One go. Kun On was asking Luang Por for a special blessing for her birthday. Luang Por said the most useful or the best kind of blessing is to gain knowledge and understanding of how to develop oneself for one's own benefit and for the benefit of others. We use language for this purpose. The right way to use language, or the skillful way to use communication, is to help share our experience and knowledge with each other for the benefit of us all. And this sharing of knowledge through the use of language and skillful communication, the Buddha's word for this is sutta. It means listening, learning, and can mean reading as well. What are we learning? We're learning about that which is skillful and beneficial to us, in our lives, that which is harmful and dangerous to us in our lives. That which is skillful is something we should aim for, aim to bring up, aim to develop. And that which is harmful is to be avoided because it leads to suffering. So learning is about learning to avoid suffering and reduce suffering from our life, to avoid danger, to avoid that which damages our well-being, harms our sense of well-being, harms our good health, harms our physical good health and mental good health. We try to develop in our lives a knowledge and an understanding of that which will benefit us and others. The easy way to say this is we learn to live our lives in a good way, or to do that which is good. Another word for this good or goodness is auspicious. That which is auspicious or makes our life auspicious is by doing good. In the time of the Buddha, they asked the Buddha what is auspicious in life, and one of the things he said is auspicious is to have useful discussion at the right time, timely discussion on such matters as this, Dhammasakkaccā, to discuss the truth at the right time, the right occasion, so that we can increase our knowledge and understanding of truth and of the path to happiness. It means meeting with others in order to obtain information, meeting with others to gain understanding that will lead to our prosperity and to doing away with the obstacles to that, the obstacles to our happiness. Now, the modern word for this would be meeting or a seminar or something like that. It's a place where people come together to listen and discuss the way to benefit and develop ourselves. To listen, you have to use your ear. And with the ear, it's connected to the brain by the nervous system. So you're using that particular sense door in order to gain knowledge and understanding. The sound we hear through our ears, it has meaning. We give it meaning, and this signals to us all kinds of things. It can signal to us danger from certain kinds of sounds, can signal to us that which is useful, beneficial, similarly. So we use this ability to listen and to hear to learn about the world. But in order to do that well, we have to apply sati, mindfulness, to do this. And this quality of mindful attention, mindful awareness to the act of hearing or listening. And when mindfulness is applied, it becomes a bit like a filter, to filter and help us to know and investigate the truth of that which we are hearing, so that we know what its importance is to us, or whether there's no importance. We know whether it's something that's useful and helpful, or dangerous, or whatever. And we have to consider what we're hearing all the time. We use mindfulness and then wise reflection to consider what we're hearing. Is it skillful and helpful, or is it harmful? Just now a man came in and said he was giving up drinking alcohol. This is something worth reflecting on. You reflect on the effect of alcohol on a human body. And what does it do? It tends to attack the different bodily functions, bodily systems, the internal organs and so on, and generally leads to a deterioration in our health. It also tends to attack or damage our basic mindfulness and intelligence in the mental functions. So we might listen and study and learn from those who are experienced in life to educate ourselves to understand better what is truly beneficial and helpful to us and what is harmful and dangerous. These people, you might say, are our teachers, because they're those who are experienced in life and can share that experience and guide us as to what is for our benefit and what is harmful to us. But actually anything can be our teacher also. Anything in life, any experience can teach us something. Something as simple as just going outside on a day like this, standing in the sun for a while, and the heat will affect you, it might even burn you. Now that's a teaching, isn't it? After a while you realise that standing in hot sun in the middle of the day, it's dangerous, it can affect our health in a bad way. That's just a simple example of how anything can teach us. So we are one who learns from our experience, and we're learning what is conducive to a peaceful and happy mind, a mind that is free from suffering, and what is conducive to feeling good and at ease and content within oneself. So in Thailand they tend to ask monks to bless them on their birthday, usually seeking a chant or some kind of gift or holy water or something, but today blessing you with these words. So this word good that we tend to use, we've heard it many times before. The word bad we've heard many times before. Good literally means that which is of benefit to us, that will lead to our spiritual growth and happiness. An example of this that the Buddha said in that same teaching on what is auspicious, what is a real blessing, that our parents, all the help that we've received from our parents since we were born, bringing us up, and this is a blessing. This is something you could say is good, having good supportive conditions. Our parents bring us up, they give us happiness in so many ways. They give us security, they give us knowledge, safety, and so on. And they're the first ones in our lives that do this. They give us, you might say, our foundation for the rest of our life. And if that foundation is firm and good, then it's like a springboard for success throughout the rest of our life. That comes from their self-sacrifice, from the various virtues that they impart to us from the beginning of our lives. In a similar way, you could say it's like the earth. The earth that we walk on, it gives us a firm base to stand on, to move around. It is actually very useful to have this earth that we stand on, if you think about it. And similarly, the parents that we have, they give us a foundation in life, meaning that they have given us everything that we need in the beginning to go on, to learn, to do what we have to do in life. And it's all come through their own unselfish behaviour, their self-sacrifice from the time we were born. That self-sacrifice you could compare to like the moisture in the world, the moisture in the air and the moisture in sea and waterways and the moisture in the earth. It's necessary to support plant life and even animal life to have moisture in the world. And this is like the self-sacrifice of parents. It's necessary if a child is to grow up into a successful adult, that they have to have received and experienced some self-sacrifice from their parents. So it's appropriate to recognise that truth, and the appropriate response then is to always remember it, and to bring up a sense of respect for, say, for parents, remembering that self-sacrifice, what they've done for us, remembering the goodness of our parents. And just remembering that, you could say, is a blessing. To be able to remember that, appreciate it, and have respect for our parents. This is a blessing. It's a foundation for good mental health. Out of that develops a sense of gratitude. Gratitude and a sense of wishing to do something to support them in return. These are the kind of qualities that make up a true human being, or the true qualities of a human being. A true human being has a heart that's developing kindness and is sensitive to others in need, and sensitive to the goodness of others. So in our practice we develop such virtues, such goodness as a foundation for our life. And we express this through our actions as well, our external behaviour, our speech, our actions in society. If they spring from kindness and compassion and this quality of self-sacrifice, well, it'll lead to all kinds of good outcomes. And also others around us will tend to appreciate it, and they will respond appropriately. So it develops a very good atmosphere, environment in the society around us. It's also for our own personal mental health, good mental health, and development of our own spiritual happiness, to develop these qualities. The kind of thoughts and attitudes that come from a heart that has kindness, compassion, gratitude in it. These are very positive qualities, so the outcome, the result is that one's mental behaviour and one's attitudes and one's sense of inner well-being and happiness develops very well. We can see that as human beings our mental activity, our mental attitudes and thinking can go in different directions. It can tend to be either very positive or more negative, just as there's night and day. There's the positive and the negative in our minds. So we have to learn to understand this and to cultivate that which is positive. The sunlight in the daytime, it has a very positive effect on the world. It brings and allows and supports the growth and the life of plants and so on. And similarly we have to learn what is necessary for our own mental and spiritual growth, and also what is good for our and supportive for our own physical well-being as well. We have to know how to look after our sense of well-being, say as we go through our daily life. We have to really think about what is the right amount to eat, what is the right amount of rest, so that we have enough energy to do the duties that we need to do in our work and in our families and so on. These are the sort of things that our parents teach us from a very young age. They're teaching us the importance of looking after ourselves and looking after our sort of personal hygiene, our personal health, what we eat, how much we eat, when we eat, how much we sleep and so on. Our parents teach us this so that we can grow up to be strong, active and balanced human beings. The Lord Buddha also taught us this on a spiritual level, so he's like our spiritual parent. He taught us how to preserve our own good mental welfare through developing virtuous behaviour in our daily life, as I've been discussing. If we've never received much good advice or good education, then obviously these sort of things are difficult to achieve. We just don't know the value of keeping good health and what supports good health. We don't know the value of having good a sense of mental well-being and what supports that. We won't know that if we've never educated ourselves. So it's important to learn this point, that the value of education and receiving good teachings, good advice, to prevent us from becoming heedless and heading in the wrong direction in our life. If you head in the wrong direction, well, you generally end up suffering more, and it's going towards degeneration. Just for example, if nobody's ever taught you about the dangers of alcohol abuse, what it can do to the body and mind, then you won't think about it, or you might carry on drinking and cause yourself a lot of physical or mental harm. But through good advice, good education, where you can start to see the advantages and disadvantages of these things, learn and change and improve yourself. So we must learn to look after ourselves, to nourish this body in the right way and to nourish the mind in the right way. The body we have to nourish with the right kind of food, healthy food, good food, and all these other supportive factors that I've been talking about. It's just like growing fruit in an orchard on a tree. That fruit to grow well and to grow large and to become succulent, something good to eat, there has to be the right conditions. There has to be enough water, enough moisture in the earth, and there has to be enough nutriment in the earth, there has to be enough sunlight, and so on. If we ourselves don't eat the right kind of food, and we don't look after our health and don't consume the right things and don't live in a suitable environment, well, of course we might come to harm. We won't feel good in ourselves, our health might go downhill, and this could be a great obstacle in our spiritual search and spiritual path. So we must learn to educate ourselves to find out what really supports and sustains good physical and mental health. We must see the value of developing the kind of virtues I've been talking about, the virtues such as kindness and compassion. And these are the qualities that make somebody a true human being. There's a human being in terms of the physical form. We're all human beings, but what really makes someone truly human are these virtues, these qualities of kindness and compassion. And they support the arising of good mental health. So good physical health, good mental health, these are the most important things in life. We must learn how to look after ourselves, to rest enough, so that we have enough energy to do the work and the duties that we have to do. Whether we're living on our own or we live in a family, these are the sort of things we have to pay attention to. And if we put effort into this is what makes our life something truly a blessing or truly auspicious, and gives us the chance to go on and do many good things now and in the future. Does anybody have any questions before we finish?
Not very deep one. How's your hand?
Huh?
How's your hand?
My hand? Oh, no, that's okay. Today was a short talk. Says it'd be correct to see that really our body is the servant, or you could say the slave of our mind. And it's the job or the function of our physical body to perform, to act according to what the mind instructs it. So he said these are all just, you might say, normal or physical or just natural processes, natural functions that just take place of themselves. So writing, the mind tells the hand to write, it just follows along according to the instruction.
John, could you please tell them that I'm an incessant writer? So, and it's, my hand is control of my mind.
One of the benefits of writing, and writing down one's thoughts in different ways, different kinds of writing, is that it improves our basic ability to remember. What you're doing is you're getting your thoughts out on paper, so you become clearer and you understand your thoughts better, and then that clarity helps you to remember things better, get things in order and in perspective in your mind. So yeah, it has many benefits being a writer.
Which is why I try to do why I do it. But I know that I've had a comment, for example, writing. You know what you think, but what you've just expressed is what it does for me. It helps me to attain some clarity, to observe it, to look at it and observe it and think about it, and see whether also there's any distortion in the process of thinking. So that's encouraging for me, and it makes me feel, it reaffirms my comfort, the comfortable position I feel with writing and the purpose in writing, and the clarity that gives me.
He says one thing to be aware of or cautious about with writing is because it does come from one's thoughts, and those thoughts are very much coming from the creations of the mind. So there's a lot of imagination there, and there's a lot of emotion there. So to write down is good because it helps us to see what we're thinking and our state of mind, and that, but it's not always going to be absolutely true. You know, there's factual writing, but then one can embellish the facts, one can add to them, one can create things that aren't true through one's writing coming from one's thoughts. So one has to learn how to just consider carefully what one is writing. You can see, he said it's a bit like a mountain stream. You go to a mountain stream, it might look very clear and nice pure drinking water, and it might be, but sometimes you lift it up in a glass or something, you might realise, well, actually it's still got a lot of little bits of dirt in it or whatever. So when you do write things down, you have to always have that circumspection, just to check what the state of mind is, say that it would lay behind what you wrote. And you'll see some days when your state of mind is very positive and what you might say a good, calm, stable state. Well, you'll get one kind of writing and things might go quite smoothly and well. Another day you might have a more negative state of mind, and well, that will be reflected in the way you write. And so he said it's good also to, if you've written something, then later on at a later date go back and look at what you've written and see if you can detect any influence from just your state of mind or emotions at that time. Says in our lives there's three main ways we make karma. Karma literally means one's intentional actions, but normally people are expressing their intentional actions externally through what they do or what they say, or maybe what they write. But there's also another much more important but more subtle kind of karma. That's what we call mano karma, which is the karma just of our thoughts and the quality of our thoughts, whether they're skillful, unskillful, positive, negative. And say in the case of writing or any other external behaviour, somebody else might see what you're doing or read what you've written, and they might get an idea of, or a guess, might be able to guess at your state of mind and the intention behind, but it'll never be 100%. The only person who can really know the mental karma and the mental state of mind behind one's action is oneself. So for this reason, one is training oneself to always know one's intentions, whether they are skillful or not, positive, negative, wholesome, unwholesome. And this training in Buddhism, we call this the training in development of right view, samadhi. It means a right view or right understanding, and understanding that all negative states of mind will lead to suffering, and positive states of mind are for our benefit, for the benefit of others. and just getting that understanding clear in one's mind is very much the heart of Buddhist practice, knowing what is truly beneficial for oneself and others and what is harmful for oneself and others. And it begins in the mind, just with what we think and the state of mind.
And that would require a great deal of honest self-awareness, for me. And that can also be very confronting and difficult and challenging. I'm not quite sure. The words I'm using are very poor choice of words, but perhaps in English I don't have the words to express what I'm trying to say, but to have that we have to be very honest with ourselves, because it is really easy, I think, for the sake of comfort, to play with even the most minuscule illusions which put things where we'd like them to be rather than where they really should be. So I think that self-honesty is a real challenge, one that I think is a great thing to aspire to. But does that fall into the realm of what Luang and you were talking about, now that honest self-awareness and self-assessment and refinement as we go along in practicing that skill?
He said everything that we see or know in the mind can be changed and improved or remedied. He said the way to do it is learn how to investigate whatever you're looking at from many angles, to see all sides of what you're looking at until the truth is exposed by that.
ถ้าเรามองหลายๆด้านมันจะมีการช่วยให้เกิดการยืดหยุ่น
By training oneself to look at things, look at issues, personal characteristics, whatever, from different angles, the result is one develops a flexibility and an agility of one's own mind. One can be flexible, in one's view, one's outlook. One can have more flexibility, and that allows things to change. Allows one to grow, and so on.
So we have a much more holistic approach to things, rather than it being strictly through the eyes of adding, for example. We have a more realistic view because we're seeing it,
all angles.
A better way of saying we can step outside of ourselves and see it from other positions, and then get a more balanced understanding of what's real rather than what our personal perception is of something.
What I just translated what you said. He said, that's a valid way of describing what you might be doing. He said, he gave an example. Say you have an issue with somebody else. Their behaviour in some way has brought up a negative reaction in oneself. One's dissatisfied, unhappy, or angry or irritated with the way somebody behaves. Is there a way of looking at it in a way that will change one's perception of that particular thing? We're probably just looking at the whole picture. I don't like this person, what they've done, what they've said. He says, say you just look at one aspect of the thing, their hair. Just looking at the hair or considering the hair on the head of that person, does that make you angry? Or their skin, does that make you angry? You literally go through just the physical attributes of that person one by one. So is that the very thing that makes you angry? Because that's as valid as any other part of that person or any action of that person.
Are you able to elaborate a little bit?
Depends, you might say, on our perception of everything, our self-perception, what you were saying earlier. So another example, this spittoon, you lift it up, you hold it, you might say, oh, this is heavy, holding it for a while, this is heavy. But that perception of it being heavy partly depends on your strength. If you're strong, you might not feel it heavy. If you're weak, you feel it's heavy quickly. But the thing itself is not heavy or light. Yeah, it's your perception of it.
The
that's
pen
the
just
important.
dropped.
Yeah. So you just gave that as another example.
Thank you. I understood.
ภาษาเขาเรียกว่าภาวนามยปัญญา
This kind of consideration of the truth in a sort of the way he's been talking about just now, the Buddhist term for it, Pavanamaya Panya. It's the highest kind of knowledge or wisdom or understanding that we can develop. He started off his talk today, I think, before you came, talking about the kind of knowledge we get from just learning and discussion, and sort of more normal way we get information in life. This kind of knowledge he's talking about is coming from meditation, where one is looking at one's mind directly with mindfulness and investigating truth in this sort of way to remedy suffering, misperceptions, delusions, all the kinds of things that cause us suffering. It's this kind of knowledge and understanding we're talking about is the most beneficial for us, and it comes through investigating this body and this mind itself as it is. Any more questions today? Time is getting on. The reason this kind of direct knowledge is the most useful is because it helps us to remedy problems, sort out our problems, sort out our suffering.
Quite often we leave it till we're suffering to try practicing, which is often not the way that I've done.
ส่วนใหญ่
Then we want magical cures, and we're not practiced at it.
There's no need for any miracle cure or anything like that. The answer to all our problems is we can find within us, within our own experience. We just have to look and learn from our experience and develop the knowledge that will help us to cure our suffering. So it's just as the physical ailments of human beings, we've learnt ways and means to look after our health, to remedy health issues, illnesses, disease and so on. And if one does have some problem with health or dealing with aging as well, there's a lot that we can do. We can learn from our lifestyle and what is supportive of good health, what is supportive, what we need to do to adjust to any kind of health issue that's coming up. We can do that. Similarly, with our mental suffering, we can learn to rectify that. We can learn what we need to do to develop good mental health, peace of mind, from our own experience, from understanding ourselves better. He said if it wasn't possible, then there wouldn't be such a thing as wisdom in the world. Where has the wisdom in the world come from? It's come from people applying their minds to solve their problems, solve their issues. Says really the answer to our problem, or the solution to our problem, is right there in the problem anyway. If we're suffering, then the place or the experience of non-suffering will be right close by, it'll be right there. Within that same experience, we'll be able to find it there. Just as there's light, there's darkness, there's heavy, there's light, heavyweight, lightweight. If there's suffering, there's no suffering as well, and it'll be right there, and that's the place to look.
Very timely for me.
He says life might say the purpose of life, or the important thing in life is at any one time is knowing what your duty is. Just where you're at in your life, what is your duty right now, and how can you perform your duty in the best possible way. And I said something else which I've forgotten. What he said before that I forgot was that he said the way that one performs one's duty, and also the way one knows what one's duty is at any one time, is the development of the quality of heedfulness. The word the Buddha encouraged us, used a lot, encouraging us in our lives to be heedful of our duty, heedful of what we are doing at any one time. And what did you just say now? What did you just say then? Oh yeah, maybe as you're doing your duty, try to free your heart from worries. Try not to let your worries bring a sense of kind of gloom and doom and negativity or depression to your mind. If you just keep concentrating, focusing on what your duty is and doing that with heedfulness, then little by little your mind will start to let go of its suffering, because you're doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, meaning you're doing your duty, and you keep putting effort into that, then little by little you'll get through the obstacles, and the sense of well-being will come up because you're doing your duty, you're doing the right thing. One of the most important techniques for helping us to release us from our stressful thinking, let go of that, is to keep returning the focus of our attention to the present moment. Whatever we're doing in life, keep your mind returning to the present moment. What am I doing right now? We tend to worry a lot because we worry about the past, things we've done, things that have happened. It agitates us, makes us restless. Or we worry about and fear the future, what might happen. So the best way to remedy this is to keep returning one's mind to the present moment through the practice of mindfulness. The past, you can't return to being a child. You've been a child, or you've been younger, and that you've finished with that. You can't change that fact, so you might as well let it go. You're not yet old, as in very old in the future, so there's no point worrying or fearing that, because it hasn't happened yet. You haven't reached that point yet. Always bring your mind back to the present moment and reflect, well, what is my duty right now? What am I doing right now? And this is the way to free your mind from a lot of worry and stress in life.
No.
Is that probably enough for today? You can always come back another day and hear some more.
Thank you.